Hi everyone, it's Lynnis from Wellness Woman 40 and Beyond. It's so wonderful to be here today. I am excited because we're going to get a chance to talk about a topic that normally people whisper about but don't really talk about as much as they should. And it is so important to our wellness. We have with us today Dr. Kat Smith. And she is an author, a TEDx speaker, a relationship and intimacy expert. And she's here today to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, only because I noticed that as I began to age, things began to change for me in terms of my sexual response and feeling attractive and all this other kind of stuff. And the things that she talks about, I think, are really going to kind of open up your eyes and your mind in terms of things that we can do to have a more intimacy with our partners, to have a better sexual response, because I truly believe that when you're doing all those things, then you're actually feeling better, looking better, and having a more well life. So I'm so excited to have my friend Dr. Kat Smith here on the Wellness Woman Show. Welcome, Dr. Kat. It's wonderful to have you.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Lynn. It's always fun to hang out with you.
Yes, and well, now we get a chance to talk about a really fun topic. When I was preparing for the show, one of the things I thought about as I was preparing for the show was, we really don't talk enough about how we're feeling from an intimacy standpoint. And I was talking to my sisters about this topic, and they were excited about it. I said, this is going to be a great topic. And they said, but we have so many girlfriends that don't have significant others. And I said, well, just because you don't have a significant other or a partner or a husband, whatever you want to call it, doesn't mean that you can't still have intimacy, that you still can't have a sexual response. Isn't that correct?
True. And let me differentiate between intimacy and sex.
Great.
Because that is the most confusing aspect of what I do. And since I call myself an entomologist or an intimacy expert, I feel that it's very important for people to understand there is a difference. Now, what I consider intimacy is many components, and it lays the foundation for the relationship. So it's the trust, the care, the nurturing, the respect, the support, the passion, and sex is part of that. But I always say sex lasts on average about 7 minutes. What are you doing with the rest of your time to create deep intimacy? So with that, yes, even if you're single, that is really the most valuable time to start really embodying the type of experience that you want to have when you're in a relationship, because that gives you time to really focus on yourself, figure out what you like, what are your boundaries, what are deal makers, what are you truly looking for in a relationship, and what makes you feel good? What gives you pleasure in life? And not just sexually. Mm-hmm. Because, I have this new program, the Positive Power of P, and what that's all about is finding pleasure in life, the positive power of P. So yes, if you're single or if you're married, you can have a deep, intimate relationship, and it begins with you.
That's wonderful. I'm so glad we're talking about this, because that was what one of them, well, I don't know if I can do that class or not because I don't have a boyfriend. I said, you know what? First of all, what happens a lot of times in midlife is that we become specialists in what it is that we think we can't do, or what it is that we think we don't like, or what it is that we think that, isn't going to work. And that is so limiting. When you take a look with, all the people that you've worked with through the years, and especially those women that are over 40, what are some of the common things that you see that begin to happen to us with our sexual response and how we respond to that?
Well, no one's ever given a sex 101 book when we start to get out into life. I mean, usually we bouncing up against each other and nobody's knowing we're fumbling around. But until someone who understands and knows how to please and wants to please and is open to learn, until you're taken by the hand and say, no, let's do this. Let's try this. I want to make sure you like this, or whatever. Until that happens, we're just kind of fumbling around until we stumble upon something that feels good. Because believe it or not, there's still a lot of women who don't know their bodies. They don't know where their erogenous zones is. They don't think they have a G spot, and they don't know how to communicate their needs in a relationship. And again, it's not just sexual, because you know what? If you're not getting what you need, the pleasure you need in other areas of life, you're not going to want to have sex. You're going to be turned off. And when he says, well, what's wrong? And you go, nothing. Okay, then that's a sign that, you're turned off. So you want to stay turned on in life. And so in order to get there, you first got to know who you're dealing with. Okay. Knowing yourself, knowing what you like, what feels good to you, how to communicate those needs, how to say when something is not appropriate for you. And, you're like, no, that's unacceptable, and do it in a constructive way. Second is know who you're in a relationship with. Because men basically have 4 needs, and that's to be pleased, which is sex, to be pampered, to be praised, and to have a happy home. And in this program, I focus on all those things, and I teach you how to take that information, understand it, take that information, and use a strategy to help them give you what you want, willingly give you what you want. No tricks, no underhanded manipulation or nothing. It's like, if he's getting everything he needs and wants in a relationship, he's going to be more than happy to give you what you want.
Well, you mentioned something that was really important in terms of an important first step to really begin to explore all these different avenues that leads to having more pleasure in your life. And you said getting to know you and what you like and what you don't like, and being able to communicate that, and to be able to be vocal and feel good about communicating that. So what kinds of things can we do to practice doing that? How can we begin to get comfortable in our own skin in terms of getting to know ourselves better, and then communicating how those things feel and what works and what doesn't work?
Well, first I always tell people, I said, what is your love vision? And that's your views on love, sex, and romance, because it's influenced by a lot of different things. You have religion, you have race, you have ethnicity, culture, tradition, you have society, you have the media, you have life experience. All these things contribute to how you view love, sex, and romance. Okay, so if you want a relationship because you're taking all your stuff and all his stuff, and you're trying to blend it into a life together. And sometimes it doesn't weave so easily. You have to, move around, and you got to compromise. So you have to find your truth and all of the things that you believe. You have to be authentic. So find your truth, be authentic to what you need, and then you can then have a vision, you have a path, you have a map to getting to those experiences that you want to experience. Not all the stuff that you hear your mom went through and your girlfriends go through. I mean, because like you said, we can have all this stuff and we think, this is going to happen, and all guys are the same and all they want. But if you know what you want in a relationship, then you can better, control the joystick. You can say, no, this is not good for me. So let's try something else. And you can do it in a way that he gets it, because men are physical, women are emotional. And when we go and we're like crying and being all emotional, they have not developed their emotions. So they're just kind of going, that does not compute. That They're thinking, the first thing they think, crazy. Women are crazy because they get all crazy and cry, blah, blah, blah. No, what we're doing is we're expressing ourselves to hopefully help you to get it. Now, because we're speaking a different language, I say we speak estrogenish and men speak testosterone. We speak totally different languages. But when you can understand that language and really get to know and understand how men process information and how they work, then you can better take that information and mold it into a working place of being with him. Okay.
And that's so important. It's so important. I like the idea of you saying that this is something that, you can work together to do, because that's the other thing. For couples, let's say couples are taking a course and they're feeling they have their own inhibitions because this is something kind of different. It feels like, okay, I'm going to be like going to school, but this is very different because you get a chance to work on these things in the comfort of your own home, which I think is huge for some people to be able to talk about these things. But how can we begin to break the ice to begin to even do some of these exercises, or to even begin to talk about wanting to take a course like the Positive Power of P? Because some people have a little bit of inhibitions just even talking about that piece. So here I am, okay, let's say I'm Sally Mae down the street. I found out about your course and I'm trying to figure out, how am I going to talk to my husband about this? I can't even talk to my girlfriends about it because it seems kind of strange, because I want to take this course that's on the internet to help be closer with my husband. So how can I broach the subject? How can I begin to, get him to buy into the idea that this is something that could really help?
Anytime you tell a man that you're doing something for more pleasure, he is going to be on board, okay? He's going to get pleasure. He's thinking sex, more sex. Yes. One of the main complaints from men is that she won't initiate sex. And women have this thing, even today's women, we have this thing that, well, if I bring it up and I tell him I want to try something new, he's going to think I've been out there and I'm wild and I'm a tramp and all this. She was worried about her reputation. She will forfeit her pleasure for the sake of her reputation. And how crazy is that?
How crazy is that?
If this is a person that loves you and wants to please you, and all he wants to know is what you want him to do, then, hey, he's just waiting around for you to tell him.
Right.
So he's not going to judge you. Look, if a man, if somebody is sitting, he's starving, and you sit a steak in front of him, but the steak is not cooked really good, you think he's going to turn that steak down? Hell no, he's going to eat it. Right. So why would you say, oh, well, I'm going to be here, but I'm not, I'm going to engage in this, but I'm not going to let him know I'm really enjoying this, because he's going to think that I've been out there. Right. No, he's going to be in there trying to get that orgasm. Right.
He's not thinking about those things, right?
Yeah. So we got to get away from that kind of stuff. But what I usually say is just say it. You don't have to fluff it up. You just kind of say, babe, I've been thinking, I don't want us to go down that path where we lose the attraction and the passion for each other. Let's try something new. And I heard about this program. So let's take it together so we can learn together, and we can blow this thing up. We can start having some more fun in our lovemaking. Mm-hmm. And what man would turn that away? No.
Yeah. I think sometimes we have all these conversations going into our heads, and we really need to get out of our heads sometimes. And like you said, and just do it.
Yes.
Just go ahead and do it, and don't be all constipated about it. Now, what kinds of topics do you cover in the the course? What are some of the categories and things?
Well, first of all, I help you to understand your man. Okay. And then I help you to understand you. Mm-hmm. I help you to understand there's a dynamic that's in all things. It's called balance. And so I help you understand that balance, because a lot of women today feel that, oh, well, I don't need a man, but I want a man. Mm-hmm. So you know what? You can't have one without the other. Right, okay. Right. A heterosexual man, if we're talking heterosexual relationships, wants his opposite. He wants the softness. He wants the nurturing. I always say that men want mom with benefits. Now, I know that sounds really, really weird.
But it's true.
No, it is true. He wants all that intimacy, because that was his first contact with intimacy, true intimacy. Okay. He just wasn't getting the sex. Mm-hmm. So after you learn about him, then I teach you, okay, and you learn about yourself. I teach you how to ask for the things that you want, because there's a way of going about asking it. I help you to create a strategy for moving forward in your relationship. And I say strategy because it is a strategy. You're trying to blend all of your experiences with his, and all of this stuff and beliefs and all of these habits and everything. When you're trying to build that, and then, oh, God forbid, you throw some kids in there and some work, and so couples today are emotionally, mentally, and physically exhausted.
Yes.
So you have to create some kind of strategy to get making your relationship a priority. And so then you learn about that. And then I give you some strategy on, okay, hey, when you have to put your foot down and say, okay, you're not listening to what I'm saying here. So I'll give you some strategies on how to move forward with, setting some boundaries and approaching him and, doing some some calling to the carpet.
Right.
And then, of course, how to maintain the things that you've learned, how to apply them in your world and in your relationship.
And these are all things that are so important. You said something, though, that I wanted to go back to that happens a lot for our 40-somethings. The kids are finally beginning to get older. If you had them in your 30s, they're beginning older. They're more independent. They're beginning, as you get towards the 50s, to move out, go away to school. And this is what happened to my husband and I when all my kids were gone. We were empty nesters very early on because they all moved out and went away to school. And all of a sudden, it was like, wow, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Because most of our conversation was all about the kids and helping each other survive raising these 4 kids. Yeah. And when they were gone, there was this big pink elephant in the room, which was like, okay, what do we do now? And it was like getting to know each other all over again. And it was so much fun. It was kind of funny, but we had realized how many things we had stopped doing.
Yes.
Just because we couldn't include the kids. So many things that we had stopped doing, and so many hobbies and things that we had stopped, and other things that we could have done that we just didn't do because we didn't have to worry about finding a babysitter, set aside the money for this. You just don't do it. So your course gives people an opportunity to really say, hey, how you doing? Get to know each other again, and maybe even find out some new things that you never really got a chance to explore because the children are around all the time.
Exactly. And, a man, he's been patient because a woman, we always act like we are superwoman and we want to do everything. We want to take care of the kids and we don't trust him along with the kids because he might not do something right. And it's just all of this stuff. We want to do everything. And I say, look, if you're not getting the help around the house that you need, either hire somebody to clean the house, send the laundry out, order the groceries online, and tell him, look, I'm only one person and I need some time to just download when I come home, just like you. You go over there and you grab the remote and you kick back and you click in.
Right, exactly.
When it's dinner. And
I hate that question.
Yeah. Delegate to him, okay, on 3 nights a week, you're bringing dinner home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you're feeding the kids. If the kids are still home, you're feeding the kids. But if, they're already gone, you're going to take some initiative to do that. And then on date nights, which, I'm a big proponent of date nights, they are sacred. You let nothing come between date night unless somebody is, it's an emergency. Okay.
Right.
So you have to make that sacred and trade off who's going to plan it. Make it exciting again. I always say, try some role playing, show up as, a waitress, you don't have to get really sexy out here, but, show up as, a character that you want to act out a role, and let him pick you up at a bar and y'all have a room and go have some fun. Or, do I call it a pleasure hunt, plan that he will go pick up the wine and then go pick up the chocolates and then meet you for dinner. And then from dinner, you kind of excuse yourself from, to the ladies' room and then have the waiter bring a note to him saying, meet you at this location. And then you have some adult fun, so you can do all kinds of fun things. Make a picnic and watch some concert in the park, or, you have so many things you can start enjoying all over again. And it allows that closeness allows you to rebuild that bond that you had.
Yes.
And so you're releasing all of those love hormones. So, getting things kind of worked up. So yeah.
Yes. And I think it's wonderful to be able to build on those shared experiences, because the more you're sharing in each other's space, there is something that begins to happen chemistry wise that doesn't happen any other time when you're like getting dressed in the mornings or driving on the way to work. This is something else where you're getting to spend that quality and some quantity time doing things that you both enjoy doing with each other. Or sometimes you might enjoy watching your mate doing something that he enjoys doing that makes you happy to watch him go and, make a fool out of himself playing basketball with the guys or something, and you're the cheerleader or whatever, or vice versa. He's watching you take a dance class or whatever. But the whole idea is to begin to start working on increasing those shared experiences. Let's talk a little bit about what happens with midlife and our sexual response and intimacy and stress. How does that all figure in? How does stress impact it?
Well, there is a lot of stress in all of life, and it's how we manage that stress. Because I always say start in the morning, okay? My whole thing, no run by kissing. No, I always could run by kissing or drive by kissing. None of that. You stop and you really enjoy the moment. Be present for the kiss. Feel what the kiss feels like. Look into each other's eyes. Allow your body to respond to that kiss, okay? That's going to release some stress. You're going to be able to handle that traffic or that, irritating coworker or whatever, that, and be able to handle some more stress. But the other thing is, sex is a wonderful stress reliever. It helps you ward off colds. It relieves pain. It burns calories. So sex on a regular basis. Also, it will lengthen a man's life 10 years.
Wow.
Okay. So have sex because it's a healthy thing. And you can start incorporating more foods that are healthy for, your libido. You can start breathing exercises that help your libido so that you can actually get the blood flowing,
right.
Where it needs to flow. If there are challenges with the comfort level of sex, because sometimes as we get older, we don't lubricate as well. Try a lubricant. I have one that I really like called Uber Lube. It's a very good lubricant. And that is something, hey, you can get a prescription, but try something over the counter first, or, something that's, readily available over the, then going into drugs and everything. So try that. Also, it's a muscle, okay? So the more you massage
and exercise it, right?
then the less likely you will have pain, because you're using that muscle. It's just like if you were, in bed and you couldn't move around, your muscles kind of lose that, that strength. So it's kind of like that. You have to use it. So, I remember this program is called Reboot Your Sex Life. It's kind of like, every once in a while you got to do something to your computer to make sure it runs efficiently.
That's right.
Okay, so reboot your sex life and make sure you're having sex on a regular basis, because it's really, and if I'll have to say this, if you're not enjoying sex anymore, it's probably because you're not getting satisfied. So if he's not doing what you need to do, you need to figure out what it is he needs to do and tell him how to do it, or incorporate some toys in the mix, or make it very sensory. What do you need to see? What do you need to smell? What do you need to taste? What do you need to hear while making love? So bring all that stuff in there and make it juicy and good.
I love that. And you mentioned something about food, because you hear that a lot. So is it really true, doctor? Is it really really true that there is such a thing as aphrodisiacs? Do they really exist?
Yes.
Okay.
Really,
well, do tell.
Oysters is one example of that. I try to give my clients, a lot of information, and not to go off on another program, but I do have another program that focuses on the libido. And what you have to do is just remember that what you are, you eat, you become. So eating the things that kind of help you with your libido and naturally help you with your libido is really good. I mean, you can find some of that information on my website and my blog. So
yes. In fact, I wanted everybody, for those of you who are going to be coming back and listening to this, there's a lot of good information here. I want to make sure that you know about our webinar that we're having in November. You can go to my website and go to the jump page there, and there's all kinds of information, including a direct link to her site and to her online courses, the positive power of P, and P stands for pleasure for some of you folks who think it stands for something else. But there's a link that goes directly to that course and tells you a little bit about the course. And but also, it's a great idea to make sure you sign up when you go so that you can get additional information about the webinar. I want you to go to, I want to make sure I'm doing this right, praiseworks.biz/ and then positive-power-of-P. And we'll have that link when you come back to listen to this again. You just click on the link and it'll take you straight there, and you'll see Dr. Kat's lovely face, as well as some more information about this fantastic webinar, which is basically about intimacy for over 40. We're going to share with you some of the things we're talking about now, but a little bit more in depth. And for those of you who want to find out more about aphrodisiac food, you need to make sure you're at the webinar. Go and sign up and get the information. We'll send it to you once it's ready, because it's going to be in mid-November, November 14th, I believe it is. And it's going to be a lot of free information and may have some goodies for you too. You never know. So you got to show up and check it out, because you're going to be able to have a fantastic new year after you take this course.
We all like that.
Yeah, it's going to be crack-a-lackin' in 2018. That is for sure. I have one more question that I want to make sure that I talk to you about, and that has to do with what's going on with us hormonally. Some women feel, I've heard my girlfriend say this a lot, that they just don't have the desire anymore. Some men, they may have the desire, but there might be some issues around being able to, rise, and be able to perform. What kinds of things do you talk about in your course that kind of deals with that matter and kind of addresses some of those issues?
Well, hormonally, of course, as you age, your hormones change. Okay. But the main focus is you have to keep your hormones balanced, whether you get a hysterectomy or any other procedure, or it could be just a medical condition that your hormones just get out of balance. I wouldn't say go run into one of these, storefronts, that are talking about, okay, hormone replacement. Go to your doctor first and get a diagnosis. And then they can suggest how you can, what you can use to balance out your hormones. If you're getting too much estrogen, it's not healthy. And if you're taking something that has estrogen, then that can, have side effects, which cancer and things like that. So what you want to do is make sure you go to the doctor and get a diagnosis. That's first and foremost, because your health is more important. Mm-hmm. Then once you get your hormones balanced, then you will see a difference in you. And also make sure you tell them about the medications that you're on, because a lot of the side effects of medication can cause you to have an imbalance in your hormones, especially in antidepressants. My God, there's a lot of people on antidepressants. Yes. And one of the main side effects is a lack of desire. So if you're taking something, see if they can wean you off and put you on something else, or see if there's a more natural way that you can go to get your libido back. But the thing is to just, if you're feeling that you have a low sex drive, then there's some healthy, options for you to try before, going on to some kind of a.
And I'm glad you mentioned that too, because actually, and I really truly do believe this, if you're really ready and wanting to take a holistic approach to life, dealing with the mind, the body, and the spirit, one of the things that people, talk about a lot is, how you're eating, the kinds of things that you're eating. But it's surprising how much what you eat, how you exercise, the quiet time you spend, how you reduce your stress, how you stay spiritually connected, how all of those things can feed into your ability to be closer with someone, to be more intimate, to have a better sexual response. They're all intertwined. And it doesn't really matter where you start on the continuum, just as long as you start in terms of beginning to really tune in on what makes you feel better. And I'm glad you mentioned that about the medication, because I know for a fact with my own experiences with my husband, high blood pressure medication, definitely. But the good news about that is that there is ways for most people to get off of high blood pressure medication.
Yes.
It requires a lifestyle change. Just like what we're talking about here, changing your lifestyle a little bit in terms of, you know, your intimacy life and your sex life. Well, you also might want to do a lifestyle change in terms of the kinds of things that you eat and everything else that puts you in the situation where you're taking medication, which is impacting your ability to have a more fulfilling intimate relationship. So they really are intertwined. They
are very intertwined. And another reason why a lot of people are on these medications and antidepressants and things like that is they're not dealing with the core issue. If you have something deep within you that you need to work on, you need to find someone to talk to. If it's not me, fine. Find someone that you can talk to and get to the core issue. And once you deal with that, then you don't have to take medications. You won't be depressed about, you know, something, because a lot of people are masking what the real issue is. And they're taking drugs because they don't want to deal with it. And they've been told by so many people, oh, that happened so many years ago, get over it. No, that's not fair to say to anybody. You can't determine when someone's time is now to heal. You know, you can't schedule that. A person has to feel safe in an environment to be able to share, you know, their deepest secrets. So try and figure out what is at the core of that. And then you can get off of those medications, and then you can go and live that healthy, whole, fulfilling life. And not just sexually, but find pleasure in life.
Absolutely. Dr. Kat, thank you so much for being on the Wellness Woman Show. I want to make sure everybody understands, first of all, let's get your URL. What is your URL where people can go and find out more about your services and maybe even schedule a session with you?
It's drkatsmith.com. That's drkatsmith.com.
Okay. And also, everybody, there's another link that's going to be on there. It will take you to the Positive Power of P. Take a look at that link. Sign up so you can get more information about this webinar and be tuning into the show every week leading up into this webinar on November 14th, because I'm going to be talking about it and rolling out a little bit more information about this fantastic webinar, how we can achieve more intimacy after 40. Thank you, Dr. Kat, for being on the Wellness Woman Show. It's been great to have you here today.
Thank you so much. I've always enjoyed being with you, Lynnis.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for listening in on the Wellness Woman Show. Tune in live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so you get a chance to actually see all these beautiful people like Dr. Kat, who are experts in the field of health and wellness for your mind, your body, and your spirit. Thanks so much. We'll see you again next time.